Hey guys, this is video blog number 2. Today I'm going to discuss something that's missing in a lot of trainees that I see in the gym, and this is effort. Um, One of the best tools I know for program design and coaching is what Dr. Mario Di Pasquale developed a long time ago, actually, called the training model. This is by far the best assessment and program design tool that exists, in my opinion, and one I've used probably for about the last 10 years when I design my programs. The key points in the training model are effort, training strategy, workload capacity, and recovery capacity. Uh, so in my opinion, these are 4 points that any trainer or coach will ever need to properly assess and design training protocol for any population or any individual. It allows the trainer to predetermine strategy for long-term, current, and short-term goal protocols. It also allows for room for flexibility to make changes depending on the client's biofeedback. Um, but today I'm going to talk about effort. Uh, uh, Effort, it's part of the exertion component of the training protocol. The main problem areas when it comes to effort are too much effort, not enough effort, or misapplied or incorrect effort. Overtime is a key phrase that I use a lot, and it should be noted when you're discussing the cumulative effects of training and optimal stimulus. When a trainee has the more is better philosophy to training, and just continues to add more and more work and load um, over time, even though they aren't working hard enough at their current training level. This is what's called junk volume. People will push and punish their bodies, uh, and they think that's what it takes to achieve results. They understand very little when it actually comes to energy and muscle systems. Um, they add work to the workload that should already be plenty to do the job, if it's properly designed. And this is a sign that, intensity is an issue, applied within their training programs. Um, and when I talk about intensity, I'm talking about it as a training variable and not as a principle. Intensity as a training principle, it's the percentage of your 1 rep max. But for me, when I coach athletes or competitors, even the regular demographic out there, I try to teach them intensity, and what I mean by that is it's an adaptive response that people apply to a workout, and most women will tend to work longer on cardio equipment instead of weight training, and they become a slave to aerobic training, thinking that they're doing more work, so they're training intensely. Um, Another part of this overdependence on training is training too hard and too often. Now, for the most part, it is impossible to train too hard, but it is very possible to train too often. Especially for beginners. When someone trains at a high level, it is very important to assess their biofeedback and a lot of the times detrain them with lower intensities for a week or so. Um, and then you also have the people who are just plain lazy, just to be blunt. Um, they don't understand what it takes for, a body transformation, physique transformation, or athletic success in general. An adaptive process takes time, and it happens over hours, even years of training. For example, most athletes that compete at the elite level, it takes them 10 years or roughly 10,000 hours of training to be as good as they are. It just doesn't happen overnight. And they're constantly, reevaluating things and trying to get better, even at the professional level. And there are also people with unrealistic expectations and think that showing up, at the gym and just walking through a program will be enough to reach their goals. As a coach, it's important for me to let my clients know if their efforts are not good enough or consistent enough over time to reach their goals that they're working towards. So effort levels needs to be explained to them in the beginning. They need to understand there's no such thing as comfortable training when their goal is to get an adaptive response. Too many people train in their comfort zone. See these infomercials that give the mentality of easy, 10-minute abs, 15 minutes this, whatever it may be. Most of the best physiques will always be the people who work the hardest and, not necessarily the heaviest, because a lot of times, people have the mentality of more weight, equals more muscle. If that was the case, power lifters would be twice the size of a bodybuilder, and obviously that's not the case. The most common mistake to getting results is misapplied effort. Women will say they want to look, more toned, more athletic, but they invest most of their time and effort into cardio, aerobic training. Which if you saw my first video log, I explained why that is not an optimal or effective way to achieving, that athletic look. When they prescribe, weight training, they typically don't train hard enough because they have a fear of gaining muscle or becoming bigger, not understanding that, this is what will actually cause an adaptive response and help them meet their goals. For men, it's the complete opposite. Most men, their ego is what tends to get in the way. They apply their efforts by training their ego and not their body. They will, try to train their best leverage, range of motions on any given movement so they can lift more weight and, impress whoever's looking at them in the gym. Screaming and yelling, doing quarter squats, whatever it may be with, 3 plates aside. You see people doing this all the time. They're putting way too much weight on the bar, say when they squat and they barely bend their knees before coming back up. Besides not producing optimal results, this is also dangerous. They also have the mentality that, lifting more means better results and bigger muscles, but not training through a full range of motion is usually misapplied effort. But this is what quantifying everything does to one's mentality. Yes, weights to an extent are important, but, heavy is relative. Just because you have 30 pounds in your hand as opposed to, 100 pounds doesn't mean it's not heavy, relative to what you're doing. What I tell my clients is, whatever the rep range is, that will dictate the amount of weight that you use. So your goal is to always just pick a challenging weight for the rep scheme, that's in your protocol. So this whole heavy versus light mentality, it's all relative in terms. So, in my opinion, there's no such thing as heavy or no such thing as light. So, lifting better is the key component, especially when it comes to hypertrophy, especially in the physique industry. So, effort as a part of the training model can have to do with the trainee's actual exertion, and efforts in the gym, but it can also have to do with understanding what kind of training induces what kind of specific adaptive response, so that a trainee understands what can be and should be expected from them and their efforts in their workouts. And there are elements of proper technique that can go a long way towards getting better results in the gym. So, the main takeaway point is effort, just because you have this famous coach or, one of the high-level gurus, so to speak, or whoever it may be, write up this program, and just because you walk through the program, you expect to, have this complete transformation in your physique. But you could have the worst training program in the world, and as long as you apply, intensity, effort properly, and put everything in that should be applied to it, you would get a lot more out of that than if you had the best program in the world and just kind of half-assed it through the whole, workout. So again, when you go to the gym, be intense, focus on, you know, proper technique, proper form, full range of motion, activating the muscles. Uh, get this whole mentality of, I got to lift more and more weight to get bigger or develop my physique. That's going to lead you down a wrong path, lead to injuries, um, knee problems, tendonitis. There's all kinds of issues that come along with it. So train hard, train smart, and apply intensity and effort properly in your training programs.